We should be live. Yeah.
Yay.
I just want to make sure that Instagram, not Facebook message goes through.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there we go. Okay, we are live. Woo! All right. I'm here with the great folks of Union Matrix, with Sarah Parker and Betsy Rogers. Is the last name? Betsy or?
Yeah, it's Betsy.
Okay, I was like, so I'm like, oh crap, did I put the wrong name?
No, you got it.
Yeah, but we're going to be talking about the Instagram API changes, and it's been a whirlwind a couple of weeks now. So have them come in and explain what is going on and all that. I guess go into a little bit what is Union Matrix. I have y'all's bio from last time. I'm just going to quickly read that off.
Yeah.
Because there are returning guests, but this time they're coming back on the live version of Chatgram. Yeah, Union Matrix provides social intelligence for marketers. Thank you for that.
We do our best.
Craft a more effective social strategy and improve your performance on social media, and that is a blessing. I want to give a quick shout out to my friend PR Christina on social media. That's her handle. She's the one that clued me into you guys on Chatgram. She kept plugging you guys, and then we got y'all on.
Yay! Glad to hear it. Thanks, Christina.
I'm not sure if she's going to be able to attend because she has a new human to take care of.
Those are somewhat demanding on time and attention, I hear.
Yes. He's been a good little one, but we are hoping to raise him in the social media ways. Make the next generation. Part of also the Chatgram family. Basically, I guess, do y'all want to explain a little further what Union Matrix does and what you're all about, and then we can get into the APIs?
Sure. Yeah. You want to take that one, Betsy?
Yeah. So Union Metrics, like you said, it's a listening and kind of enhancement program. What we do is we do a lot of monitoring on Twitter for your hashtags or your accounts, Instagram profiles and your Facebook pages. We can break down which of your posts are getting the most engagement, what times of day posts are gaining engagement, kind of a good picture of what's working for you, which gives you a great baseline to experiment further, and we tell you what works and what doesn't work with your experiments.
And you can do social listening on Twitter. Lots of use cases there.
Lots of Twitter. So yes, but we're here. If you have an account, we have monitoring for it.
And we have some free tools, so if you want to check those out, like our Twitter assistant can give you some tips for Twitter, stuff like that, so you can see what it is that we do before you commit to giving us money.
I highly recommend the free tools. I use them, and of course, I also have the paid account as well, so I am a customer.
Awesome.
I was using y'all for the Twitter chat, looking at things, so obviously I need to make some adjustments since it's not Chatgram but Chatgram Live. I need to update that hashtag. But so I guess let's just go into this. So what are APIs? Let's just begin, sort of API 101.
Okay. Cool. Well, I will say the best explanation that I've heard from this that really simplifies it, it's from a MuleSoft video where they describe what APIs are and break it down, but they give an example that's like, say you're in a restaurant, an API is kind of like your waiter, because you tell the waiter what it is that you want, and in order to get that from the kitchen, you have to go through the waiter. So the API just brings you the information that you want. It's your go-between. It's what's talking to get your end thing that you want.
Yeah. So people like us, we write programs that access Twitter's and Instagram's and Facebook's APIs. This is our way of gathering data with Instagram, Twitter's, and Facebook's permission based on what they approve to give to us. So there are certain rules. Facebook says these things are available, and we say, we please request these things. The interaction there is done through APIs.
Yes.
So our programs work with their programs because of APIs. They're the methods, the waiters running the orders back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I like the waiter analogy.
It simplifies things, and most people are familiar with that system.
Yeah, because unfortunately, you kind of bump up with people try to explain it like in code language. I'm like, most people don't speak code language.
Very true.
Yeah.
But we do have a slightly more technical blog post about it. If anyone's interested in reading that, our VP of Engineering wrote it a while back, and it goes more into detail about Twitter APIs, but the concept is the same.
Okay. And I get, sort of transition of, so before the big flip of the switch and the Instagram changes to the APIs so how were APIs working before the big change with Instagram?
Well, the biggest takeaway for marketers is going to be what kinds of use cases we were using before, which was looking at your owned media, which that hasn't changed. We actually now, with the new Graph API that Facebook is kind of forcing everyone to switch to, that's going to have more robust data. So that's actually good news for marketers.
Okay.
The use cases that are dead are things like if you're trying to look at any kind of detailed information, because the big thing is that Facebook is kind of cracking down on any kind of public information that isn't yours. So you need a business account and you can look at all of the data around that. But if you were looking at like an Instagram influencer's account that you didn't own, you didn't have access or authentication for, you're no longer going to be able to look at that. You're no longer going to be able to look at like hashtag listening the way that you still can on Twitter. You're not going to be able to do that on Instagram. They've cracked down on that. So those use cases are gone. But that doesn't mean that Instagram is like done or useless or anything like that. We're just going to have to shift strategy, because the new things that are available are some great things that people have been wanting, like looking at actual mentions and looking at photo tags. So yeah, like say if you're running a contest or something, you can use that just as easily as you can get people to use a hashtag. So that shift shouldn't be too difficult for anyone. And there might be some ways that we can authenticate someone else's profile in the future. If you have their permission, say you're working with an influencer on a campaign, there might be ways to do that. They don't exist yet, but that's a possibility for the future. So
yeah, sticking with the waiter metaphor, essentially the menu has totally changed.
Yes.
Instagram had things available before, hashtag information about competitive accounts, or pretty much any account you were curious about.
Yeah.
That's off the menu. What they're providing to us now is a lot more in-depth information about your owned Instagram account.
Yes.
Your stories.
You can look at stories now.
Physical engagement, clicks, back scrolls, things like that. That's all available now. As long as it's your owned content.
Yeah, you have to be able to authenticate it. So that's the big key thing.
Okay.
If you're working with someone closely enough that they're okay with making that available, that is a possibility. But again, we don't have like a way to do that right now.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking, like, I was at a social media breakfast thing here in Houston, and one of the things mentioned was, I think it was a Social Blade, where you can like look at other, say Instagram profiles to kind of measure and score them, and as an influencer type thing. So that particular tool is going to probably have issues now.
Yeah, that's done.
Pretty much any API access to another account or other accounts using a hashtag, like give me all the usernames of people that had tweeted about hashtag food. Instagram's no longer providing that information.
Yeah, so there's a tiny bit of it that's still available, but like there aren't any numbers associated with it, so you can't say like who would have the biggest follower count that's been using this hashtag or whatever. Like you just can't get that information. So we switched fully to the Graph API as soon as possible, because we want to have the highest quality data available, and whatever you can get left from the old API is just not enough to give good data.
And we don't think it's coming back.
No. It
sort of like chronological order is not coming back.
Yeah, well, they announced that they were deprecating the old API in January, and it was scheduled to be the end of this year, and some of it maybe through 2020, but then they just did it all of the sudden. So it's just all ahead of schedule. So most developers were already planning on making these changes. We just weren't ready for it yet.
Yeah. So basically, everyone's timetables just went, just got deleted.
Up rapidly.
And for anyone with project management and time management experience, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's been an adventure, but I mean, that's one of the risks that you take when you work in social media, because you don't own this data and you are granted access to it by the people who do. So
as much as we hate to admit it, it's Facebook's world, and we're just playing in it.
We're just living in Facebook's world.
Yes, or more like Facebook's universe. They kind of control everything. That and Disney.
True.
So I guess it just kind of leads into the changes. Is why were these changes in the works to begin with? I mean, it was just pure. They needed to update things and make things more communicate with things better. Or, that's kind of a hard question. That was kind of coming. I was trying to field it. It's just. I guess it's just like what sparked these changes initially. Yeah.
Well, we can really only speculate because we don't work there and we don't know for sure. But like I said, it was a planned change. They were planning to move everyone over to the Graph API eventually. It was just a very sudden change, and that can really only be seen as a response to the data privacy issues that Facebook has been experiencing, especially with Cambridge Analytica and things like that. We think that's the reason that they're really clamping down on all public information that was previously available. Like now you can't even see things like avatars. They just made a really big change there, and we are all adjusting to it because data privacy is important.
Yeah. I believe they referenced Cambridge in their Facebook post, kind of explaining what they'd done. The long-term plans, I think it was more of a, we can speculate that. Yeah. I think it was more of a Facebook, the long-term plans that they pretty much made into effect immediate, looks to be more of a Facebookizing of Instagram. Yeah. So they were moving to use a lot of Facebook features. That's why the Graph API is actually a copy of Facebook's own current Graph API. So it's a movement to homogenize the way that data was going to be presented to providers such as us. The rapid speed up of that timetable definitely looks like it's a response to possibly Mr. Zuckerberg having to go speak to Congress, something along those lines.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think that's where that question was kind of coming from. Is just they were wondering if it, how directly related it was to the whole privacy issue. Was it these changes wanting to come? Were these changes just coming in from the pure privacy? Instantly you want to make these changes, or was these things already planned? Which y'all said it. These things were planned. It's just as much. They went to warp 9 on the changes.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. So the plan was there. It just got sped up.
And I guess it's just also it's like mentioning the personal identification, identifiable information has changed. I mean, has there been like any other significant changes overall to the API?
Most of the things that we talked about earlier, just you can't look at hashtags anymore. You can't look at anyone's account if you can't authenticate it. And you have to have now a business account on Instagram. If you want us to be able to look at your account and authenticate it, it has to be a business account. And all business accounts are public. So if you had a private account that you wanted to look at data for, we can't do that.
So it kind of leads into one of the questions I got in. Is like, so if you do have a personal account, you're pretty much dead in the water on trying to get information.
I guess, yeah. So as of right now, our free tool is still using what is publicly available. If you do have a private or a non-business account, our free Instagram checkups still they're currently work. They're using what is left of Instagram's API, so that will go away by December.
Yeah.
We'll need to. It's 3 clicks to switch over to an Instagram business profile. You do have to link to a Facebook account. So it's a couple extra steps, but
and you can switch back if you decide it's not for you.
It will be required essentially to get data about your account going forward.
Yeah, but you do get access to Instagram Insights immediately, and then you can also use more advanced analytics like ours after that.
Okay. I guess kind of jump into a little bit of the I'm saying unique questions coming in. Just we were kind of talking this beforehand. It's just I guess it's just basically people that were asking questions. They just really understand the API originally. As is API and the algorithm, are they related in any way or any connectivity? I like to say no, but I like to get other people to say no as well. But
yeah, the algorithm controls what you see in your feed. The API controls how developers can talk to Instagram and get their data.
Yeah, and sort of the other unique question was APIs and Instagram shadow banning. Are any of these changes since they're, I'm kind of expanding on this question because I can already see this person asking this question. Is because of these removing and stripping personal identifying information, is there's going to be any connectivity between APIs and Instagram shadow banning?
Well, my best answer here is going to be don't do anything shady and you won't get shadow banned. So as long as you are abiding by the terms of service of the platform, you're not harassing anyone, you're not doing things like using bots, anything like that, you shouldn't have any issues.
Yeah. Instagram, just like Facebook, just like Twitter, does reserve the right to remove accounts it feels are not playing by the rules from the API. So we actually wouldn't be able to query information about accounts, which is kind of, I think, where what looks like shadow banning to a lot of people. They're still able to tweet or post, but for some reason they're not showing up in search results or in like hashtag feeds. This essentially is like an attempt by Twitter or Instagram to clean up the feed, make it not look spammy. So again, if you trick any of those spam filters,
don't do anything shady and you won't have these issues.
It's going to be a long talk with Instagram support.
Yes. And we can't help you with that.
Sorry.
And I guess also, talking with bots is like, are these API changes going to help deter some bot usage? I mean, I know it's hard to get rid of them 100%. Yeah, they've been trying about every 3 months or so, rolling out something to shrink the bot usage.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course they will adapt and learn new ways to be bots and be body. But for the most part, a lot of the things, because the things you could buy that a lot of people used, like influencers who were trying to artificially inflate their numbers and things like that, the services that you could buy to do that, to automatically follow accounts, to automatically comment on posts that use certain hashtags, like all of that's gone. So you can't really use those services anymore. So yeah, that strategy is done, but I'm sure that the bots will adapt and find new strategies to employ.
Yeah, I guess last night I happened to get a bot direct message, basically saying, well, basically if use our secret influencer tool to get more likes, more this and all that. So I guess people were like, they were hoping this is going to be 100% kill on bots, but I'm like, no.
I mean, there's still a trickle available, so they're going to keep pulling what they can out of that while they can. But by the end of the year, that should be pretty much done.
And of course, the people, I shared this a little bit last night on Facebook, this screenshot of this direct message, because it's like if people grammar check your bots.
Trying to see people.
Yeah, apparently influencer is now spelled with an A. But
that's the choice. Influencers.
Yes.
And there was also a few other grammar mistakes, but that was most noticeable.
That's amazing. I can't believe you didn't see that as legit.
I know. I was just like, I guess it's just, I'm a little jaded. I'm like, too good to be true. I mean, like, oh my God, I can get more likes.
Yeah, anything that sounds too good to be true, the old adage probably is.
Actually, we kind of plowed through the questions. I mean, and pretty much the answers, and you just basically, I was trying to see if anything else was coming in. Actually, Christina, is here and joining us. She was like, yay on the mentions and photo tags, because that's one of the things we've been kind of trading messages back and forth on. Is just it's been driving us nuts. Is just we haven't been able to track that or respond to that stuff, say in our other tools, and it's always in Instagram we have to do that. And
yeah, so that'll be great that we can look at that. We can look at story data now, which is fantastic because it's pretty clear that they want to try and push that as the future of Instagram. So if your brand hasn't already started experimenting with stories, I definitely recommend it because you have a little bit more flexibility in what you post there. It doesn't have to be as formal, especially if you cultivate a specific aesthetic on your regular profile. You can kind of experiment a little bit more with stories. So have some fun with it. That's my advice.
Yeah, because I feel like one of the frustrating parts with stories is like, say after the 24-hour markers, like you could see the view number, but other than that, there was nothing you can see or do or break it down, and like
we'll have that data now.
Yay! Yeah, and that's also just going, yay, I'm loving the updates on the data on stories. That's a major thing, rollout, because it's like, I'm like, okay, I say 600 views on a story, and I'm like, okay, but what was the view, how do we break that down? And
yeah, so that's going to be a big benefit of switching to the Graph API.
Yep.
The depth of information they're making available about your owned content is allowing us to get story clicks, swipe forward, swipe backs within stories, actual views on Instagram photos. So demographics about your followers, not actual lists of your followers. That's personally identifiable, but you'll now have demographics. You'll be able to see the age ranges, gender ranges, all thanks to the new Graph API.
Some good stuff.
I should say we had a question come in. Okay, it's a little off API, but
that's fine.
I'll have y'all's input as well. Actually, let me go ahead and show that on screen. Megan's wanting to know, how would you suggest starting out to take full advantage of the Instagram stories for a brand?
Well, that's going to depend on what your goals are on Instagram, what your brand does, what your brand personality is like, what your voice is like. There's a lot of things to take into consideration, but because you can play a little bit more fast and loose with stories, some people really do high production value stories still, but that's really not required. You can do a little bit more behind the scenes, a little bit more B-roll. You can just start with trying to use it to show off some personality behind your brand. A lot of any event that you're doing, you can use that. You can do product tutorials. Like there's just whatever you can imagine is kind of the limits there.
Yeah.
Even doing some employee interviews, if you're working with any influencers behind the scenes on a campaign, like there is so much you can do with it. And I would say the best way to get started really is to watch a whole bunch of other brand stories, and then you can start to get ideas for how you want to use that to tell your own.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I would pretty much right on. It's it's really up to the brand, and it's also what you're able to to make and create and get out there, and because I do like a little bit of polish, but a lot of it's just pretty much rough and cut and just go and just do it. And it's also kind of like the group that I'm with on Snapchat, where it's sort of like do these one takes. Is basically if you flub during the story, still post it. I mean, it's basically just keep on talking and get it out there, and it doesn't have to be I don't that's one of the I don't like the over polished Instagram stories. That's my style.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I see stories as sort of rough behind the scenes, and if it's too polished, it doesn't feel real.
Yeah, it's also a great place to share user-generated content. I see a lot of brands doing that, like Chameleon Cold Brew, who has their Maker Mondays, where they share lots of different posts that various people have done with their Chameleon Cold Brew, and might be recipes. It might just be someone showing off how much cold brew they're drinking while they're working on a project, stuff like that. So it's a great way for the brand to connect with people who obviously like it enough to post about it in the first place. So that's a great way to cement those relationships and to show off all the different ways that you can use your products.
Yeah, and it's also just use all the advantage of like the boomerang, the different focus portrait, all the different little bonus features. Unfortunately, I don't have portrait yet on my thing, so I'm a little behind. Because I don't think I'm trying to remember which one was y'all posted it about a few months ago. The still animation one, I think.
Oh yeah, they have stop motion, super.
Yeah, the stop motion. Yeah, I never got that. Yeah, I still don't have that.
Man, sometimes they roll out kind of slowly, but we have written a series on the blog. If you're interested in learning more about the different features on Instagram stories, I've broken down how you can use each one, some different examples. So you can check that out, unionmetrics.com/blog. Yeah,
I highly recommend the blog. Y'all do a lot of great content. It's like, someday I want to blog like y'all.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because a little off topic, but it's just blogging is my arch nemesis. But so it looks like Megan's happy with the answer. So
awesome, glad we could help.
So I think y'all pretty much answered all the questions, and
okay, cool.
So let's just wrap this up, and I want to thank you guys so much for coming in.
Of course.
For everyone watching, the live, and then also the replay, this is Chatgram Live. It is now only twice a month, the first and third Tuesday of each month at 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I've also, because of that, I've it's opened up some more free time for me. And maybe I can start blogging.
There you go.
So, thank you again, guys. It was great seeing y'all and having y'all back, but back on for the live version now.
Of course, yeah, and you can always find us on Twitter at Unimetrics, Facebook, wherever you like to hang out. We're there. Come ask us questions if you have them.
Definitely, yeah. Guys, take full advantage of them because they have a wealth of knowledge. All right.
We try.
All right, let's end this thing.
All right, thanks. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.